This is a public service announcement for hockey fans everywhere, particularly Canadian hockey fans and really particularly Leafs fans. I wrote an article yesterday, I made a video yesterday, it was on this very YouTube channel talking about the Leafs organizational depth chart. I've seen a lot of stuff about the Oilers recently, who are they gonna pick? The Jets and all the Patrick Laine stuff. The Canucks and Canadians always seem to generate news, there's a giant random hole in Ottawa. Canada has a lot to talk about. And I say all of that to say this, let's shut up for a second. The Stanley Cup Final is on right now. It's going into Game 5 with the Penguins up 3-1. That means in Game 5, I'm not going to say it, but the Penguins have a chance to do a thing. Not just a thing, the thing. Sidney Crosby, one of the most polarizing figures in the game, has the chance to raise the Stanley Cup again, might even win a Conn Smythe. And that is if an even more polarizing figure in Phil Kessel doesn't win it instead. Their starting goalie still gets ID'd. And if they don't do the thing in Game 5 or in Game 6 or even Game 7, we're talking about one of the greatest comeback stories in recent history, maybe ever, in the National Hockey League. The Sharks are in tough, which makes it that much more amazing if they overcome, not to mention that Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau could win their first ever Stanley Cups and their backup goalie. But guys, don't you think that should be dominating the headlines instead? Leaf fans, look, fellow Leaf fan here, let me level with you. We have all summer, hopefully all of the next 2 decades, to talk about Austin Matthews and hopefully Steven Stamkos. Look, Leaf fans, and some of you might be too young to even remember this, but there was a time where the Leafs were the evil empire, hated by the entire NHL. They would throw money around like oil tycoons and sign anybody they wanted. The fans were loud and couldn't shut up, talking about how great their team was. Everyone hated them. Over the last few years, let's go ahead and call that a decade, Leaf fans have almost become cute around the NHL. For the most part, fans around the NHL have been nicer to Leafs fans over the last few years. I mean, some people still call them the laughs, and I can only assume those are the same folks who dilly-dally at advanced laughs, take too long in the drive-thru, and click links and emails that are obviously spam, but they're kinda going away. But oh guys, if the Leafs get Matthews, if the Leafs by some miracle sign Stamkos, and if the Leafs by some miracle get good, we're gonna go right back to being insufferable. And you know what? Hopefully we have plenty of time to be insufferable in the future. For now, let's just enjoy the Stanley Cup Final. Let's just enjoy that this is the pinnacle of hockey. What about the Olympics? The Stanley Cup Final is not every 4 years. Players prepare their whole life. They go through a crazy off season. They play exhibition games, regular season games, playoff games. They play over 100 games by the time it's all said and done to compete for the thing that you put over your head. It looks like this, but it's heavier, and if you're lucky, it could have your name on it. And as a fan of hockey, as a fan of the sport, I think it's only right that we give that all the attention for the next week. Can we give it a week? I know that the schedule's been weird and they have random multiple days off for some reason, but can we give it a week? I mean, it's the 2 best teams in the NHL battling it out for hockey's most prized trophy. I think you can get up for that. Look, I get if you're excited, if you think your team is going to sign a player who might not actually even go to free agency, or your team is going to get some superstar who put up 38 points in the KHL last season, but you know he's going to put up 120 in the NHL next season, and your team is going to draft someone who's going to break all of Gretzky's records in the 7th round because they just know, and you have faith. But you know what? Once the final is over, once the Stanley Cup has been awarded, players have raised it above their head, they've cried and put their babies in it and taken cute pictures, all those things will still be there. Just enjoy it. You owe it to yourself as a hockey fan. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends and cut me off in the middle of the sentence I am speaking and watch the Stanley Cup Final.